Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Today is really exciting because we're going to be interviewing one of my friends, Richard Phillips, who worked on The Dark Crystal, which is a series that I personally love. It was the first thing I ever reviewed on my YouTube channel for Netflix. It's got a very special place in my heart. And Richard and I actually met in the middle of a desert in the Kalahari while I was filming another television series. And I had no idea that I'd actually run into someone like him in the middle of a desert. But let's bring him on right now. Everyone, this is Richard. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, how are you? Thank you very much for bringing me on as well. It's great.
It always blows my mind that we literally met in the middle of a desert.
And the amazing thing about it was that, I didn't really know you were into Dark Crystal. I just mentioned it and you just blew up. You were just all over the place. And while we're talking about it, have you got your T-shirt?
Right there. Yes!
Awesome, brilliant, well done.
So for those of you that are unaware, this is actually a shirt that Rich gave me. It's a crew shirt. I can't take my jacket off now, but it says like crew member. It was one of his shirts, one of the three. He had three shirts, eh? So I got one of the official Netflix Jim Henson Dark Crystal shirts, and it was literally, you should have seen my face when he gave it to me. I blew up. It was honestly the sweetest thing. And I remember literally calling my girlfriend, who's my fiance now, going, "You have no idea what just happened. I just got a Dark Crystal shirt." And she's like, "In the middle of a desert." I was like, it's a long story.
Awesome. It was very good. I loved it myself. It's great to meet you out there as well.
No, it was. It was definitely a highlight running into you in the middle of a desert. So Richard, thank you so much for coming once again. Please just let the audience at home know a little bit more about yourself and what your role with the Dark Crystal was.
Well, basically I was security at the start, and the production manager, Tim Wellspring, who already knew me from other productions, also knows that I've got an engineering background. And we were staying at Langley. So there's a big secret of those days. Langley Studios was created. And Tim Wellspring took me along, and we built the whole studio from there because it was an old warehouse. And his measurements were his long strides. And we built all the walls he's an amazing man. It was all in his head. And he knew about this, what he was doing. And he only had one tiny mistake. If you think of all the thousands, double wooden walls with fiberglass in between protection. And he built this whole studio, and I helped him along. And at the end, he said, would I become the studio manager? And hence I became the studio manager, working for the production in those stages for Netflix, and then eventually for Netflix for the next film that they did. And it was brilliant. I'm still so grateful for him to let me do that because it was an amazing experience.
So what did you think of the Dark Crystal series?
I'm going to be very biased. Even though it's puppets and people don't understand, you really have to understand the amazing amount of people, the skill, the building, creating, practicing, training. We had to even bring a physiotherapist. You imagine sticking your arm up there for hours and hours. And Louis the Terrier was awesome. What a director. You remember those adverts of those rabbits running on those dynamo batteries? He's like that. He never stops. But at 11:30 in the evening, he's there at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And where that man gets the energy, you have no idea. And we were all like a whole family. And we were like a family. It's just hard to explain because everything had to be worked out from the start to the end. And we had to find systems, building, and it's one of the best highlights in any of the film industry that I ever had. And I'm still proud of being part of that one now.
So then what was your favorite moment of the actual series? Like what moment really made your heart start racing, or you think of when you think of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance?
Everyone likes Deet. There can't be any argument about that. She was just amazing. But for me, it was the Hunter. When you look at that set, we had this set built and the Hunter was charging and there was explosions bouncing off all over the side. Just to be there and having to do a few times, but it was amazing. And the stuntman called Ian Kay was inside there and he was jumping all over the place. That I thought was one of the highlight moments of watching anything, thinking that, this is a puppet show. What are you thinking about?
And that's what's so incredible to me, actually, is that it's a puppet show. So everything you're seeing on camera was actually done by people holding up giant puppets.
You have to understand. So, I mean, an actor, when you do a film and you do a corridor, you do a back shot again, and then you do a reverse angle. But when you do this, you have to, everyone's on rostrum. So these all are higher up because you've got to imagine they're sticking their arms up. And the Skeksis actually have to be on the platform itself because they're humans inside it. There's actually two inside it. There's one watching the video on the camera and he's doing facial expressions, and they had eventually two. But you imagine you're inside, it's really hot. And then, for someone to walk, you have to take away the platforms in the front and then reinstate them in the back, so when you see them at the rear, and then if they do a back shot, they have to put them at the back and make it look. It was just so time consuming, and they were tired. I mean, you imagine sticking your arm up for all that time, or being in these Skeksis outfits. I mean, two people really close together with a little camera, and that's the other thing. It's mirror image. So when you're doing your hand, if you get it the wrong way, and so many times you can say, "Oh, wrong way," because it's not their fault. It's the fact you can see this. It's amazing how these puppeteers are amazing people.
And that's what's actually crazy to me, is what's great about live action movies is like one character is one person. Like if you've got Tom Cruise is saying his dialogue, he's doing his stunts, it's one person. If it's a puppet like a Skeksis, not only do you have the puppeteers, then later on you've got the voice actors as well.
It's about 5 actors all together just to make it work. I mean,
and that's one character. Then he's interacting with another character. And if you've got all the Skeksis together, that's a whole... I don't even have enough hands, fingers, and toes for that.
I don't know. They are so skillful. They are really amazing. I mean, Kevin Clash, Dave Chapman, Ollie, just so many, Victor Yerrett. I mean, the Smee sisters. Becky was awesome as well. And Louise Gold. And half of them were actually from the Sesame Street. You know, they were started when they were young then, you know, they had all that experience and it was all brought there. To be honest, the talent that was brought for that Dark Crystal was the best all over the world, seriously. I mean, the Frouds, I mean, we can talk a whole story about the Frouds, Brian Froud, Wendy Froud and Toby Froud. You know, Brian was the one with Jim Henderson at the start, and he used to do the drawings of the Skeksis, and he just flows it. And Wendy used to create the puppets and make them everything. And then, of course, there's Brian, their son, who used to be in the labyrinth, if you remember, the little baby in the labyrinth. But he does both of those and animatronics, and he's put a whole new aspect onto it. And you know, they're so down to earth people, and it's brilliant. And they just. Oh, I just loved them all. It was an amazing crew. I was so happy just to be there.
So it sounds like you had a really positive experience working on the sets with the crew on the show. But what was your favorite memory, or a memory that really stuck out to you from working on the Dark Crystal?
All right, okay. So what actually happened, we actually had a fire, a stage fire, and Aughra's head, we believe it might have been a battery that set it off. But the sprinkler system was an old-fashioned sprinkler system, so the bubbles burst and the water fell down, put the fire up. There was smoke everywhere, and even the cameras just off the set, none of them got damaged. It was amazing, but there was water, and everything was destroyed. The set was bad, and it was, I mean, Louis Leterrier was still there. He was with me with directing the fire brigade. Tim Wellspring came in. Rita Peglu came in as well. I mean, these are the people you're looking at from the top, and they were all there. And in the morning, the crew arrived. And nobody was saying anything. They all just sat down and calmly. Within 2 days, they were shooting again. They rewrote some of the script, put it forward while the other ones were repairing. I mean, the smoke damage and anything. I was so proud. My heart was nearly bursting, watching them proudly how these people were just getting on with it. Nothing was, and it was without a hitch. Imagine 2 days with the stage burnt down. They rebuilt the stage within 2 days while they were setting another shot and sorting everything else out. I was very proud to be with that group of people then. It was amazing, seriously. Wow.
I think that's a great depiction of people's passion really shining through. The Dark Crystal, you can tell when you watch it. You can tell when you watch it that this wasn't just a sequel or a prequel to make money. The people loved the Dark Crystal movie and wanted to continue the story. And the fact that it burnt down and they rebuilt it so quickly shows how passionate they were about it.
It was unbelievable. I mean, Louis Leterrier was the foundation and the rock of a lot of stuff. The other thing I liked about all of this, there was no real hierarchy system. So Lisa Henman, Rita, Haley Stanford was there. They were all sitting. Jeff Addis, the writer, they were all sitting on a table just off the stage. You know, not hidden away somewhere in the office or anything. They were there with you. And every morning they used to have breakfast with us, but they had their table where they had a meeting to cut down the time of having a meeting later on. They had it while they had breakfast, all these people. And everybody treated you well. And they were approachable. They were human. They weren't just someone that you go, oh, you can't talk to them. And they made sure they weren't as well. They came and spoke to you. They asked for advice. And it was amazing. It's one of the best moments ever in my film industry ever. I just loved it. Loved the whole time I was there.
So then I can imagine that you were actually really, really disappointed about the fact that season 2 never happened.
Yeah, didn't quite understand why and a lot of things. I mean, they said about the money, that it was too expensive for what they did. But if you think about it logically, I mean, even here, you have to invest money into it to make money. The fact is all the costumes and all the puppets and all the sets were already built. I mean, they're all in storage now. The thing is, the expensive part has already been done. So I'm sure, I don't know if there's what else there is, but from my limited knowledge, to me, it's already there. And to write a second series, if they already started doing a second series or writing it, it wouldn't have been expensive as the first. It's logic, really.
And you've already got a captive audience. You've got an audience that watched season 1 and enjoyed it. So you don't have to worry that much about marketing because you've got people that are passionate and want to see what's going to happen in the story.
I was very surprised when I was looking through it at the start, how many people out there still remembered the first Dark Crystal, the film of Jim Henson, and then went on to this. And there weren't any bad reviews. It just didn't have enough people to watch it yet. For the choice of what people have. And I know most likely people say, well, it's puppets. But if you just watch the series, even after sort of the first one, you go, oh, and then after a while, you forget they're puppets. These are real characters. And Deet, everyone fancied Deet in the end because she's just lovely. And, and Ryan doing all this funny joke and then Hub, of course, with his spoon. What can you say?
I had a greater reaction to most of the characters in The Dark Crystal than majority of the Netflix stuff I watch. I watch Netflix shows all the time. It's what I do. I review them. But Hup, with his little spoon, was my Netflix icon for the longest time. I love that character. And I have to say, the Chamberlain was, again, so captivating and evil. But I watch all these other Netflix movies and series, and I'm like, none of them are as cool as the Chamberlain. So clearly, the fact that they're puppets isn't an issue. It's because they are well-written characters.
I saw Stephen Pegg when he came up and he's going to consider doing Chamberlain, and he's walking through all the whole set and everything like that. And when I actually heard him, I didn't even think it was him. He's so good, isn't he? He's so versatile. But yes, he was perfect for the part, to be honest, Chamberlain is just the most evil person, really, with his voice. I have to say, that was my highlight for anything in the whole industry that I've been in. I've been in a few films there, and I have to say I enjoyed that the most. I think because I was part of it, and we were a huge family. Even the catering, cooking crew, they actually developed different ideas for cooking and have themes. We even had an essence day where we had Aughra essence and Gelfling essence. We had little drinks in the bar and everything, and they were just good little drinks, but they were all those colours. And yes, because people do get bored after a year after eating the same sort of type of food or what they invented. So it was brilliant. Everybody put an effort in. And as I said, it was a family that produced something amazing that I don't think has ever been done before like that, ever.
And now you mentioned as well that you've been on other films as well. Tell us a little bit more about the rest of your film career, what other films you've appeared in. Because I remember you told me quite a bit about it last year. And so just let everyone know about your adventures as well.
I first came on for Fun Security, so I went on to the Harry Potter part, and I'm one of the stunt guys. I became a Death Eater, so that's how I got to know the stunt people and everything else. And it was amazing. So I was doing my day job, and then I was doing the night stuff as well. So I wasn't getting much sleep, but it was all worth it. What else did I do? Downton Abbey, I've been working on there, but these are security. I wasn't really involved in all that. Criminal, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious. I forgot about those.
How could you forget about Jurassic Park and Fast and Furious?
I was more in second unit for Fast and Furious. So where you see the plane and the cars come through it, they drive onto the ramp. We actually spend a lot of time up north near Ipswich setting up on an airfield. So it's all built and everything else. Jurassic Park was already in Langley, so I was involved in that. And that was amazing as well, building the animatronics of the big, huge T-Rex and everything else. And it's amazing. And yeah, I have to say, I've been quite fortunate. Hummingbird, saw Jason Stratham, he was really nice, very skillful. And Assassin's Creed. So Assassin's Creed was the really first one I did in Langley Studios, sort of. That's how I got involved. Michael Fassbender, very, very good film, really. Lovely. But again, gamers would know about it. It's just a lot of other people wouldn't quite understand what it was all about.
So what are you doing right now at this very moment? What are you doing with your day-to-day?
So this is how we met in the desert, you're going to ask, isn't it? Okay, so what happened is my mother was living in Kalahari Trails, which she created. It was a Meerkat Sanctuary, and she became ill. So I resigned on my last film, which was for Netflix, and I came over to look after her. Sadly, she passed on, but the thing is, she left me all this. So being an engineer, I just decided to make everything work. So repairs, doing farming now, pipes and all that stuff, doing accommodation, which I've already done before. But it's nice. The most important part is that you're out here in this desert and wildness, and I'm loving it. It's hot, mind you, I'll have to say. So if you come from Langley or Wales, where I come from, it's a bit more warmer than that there at the moment.
It just blew my mind that we ran into each other in the middle of a desert. And I know I only spent 3 weeks at Kalahari Trails, but it is such an incredible place. And the little meerkats there at the Meerkat Sanctuary have got such personalities. I mean, the fact that I can still speak to you over a year later about Boyo, about Lavinia and Spike. These little meerkats, these little cute, adorable little animals had such personalities that even when I rewatch some of the episodes, I can go, ooh, that was Boyo, that was Lavinia. And you can only after 3 weeks tell each and every single animal apart. It's just great.
And that's really strange. We all say our pets and dogs, but meerkats have got their personality. Spike's going to go his 3 legs, where he's the most grumpy old man you can imagine. He's always complaining now. But they have, and with the new ones, I try not to name them because I'm trying to get them back into the wild, which is what our main job is, to rehabilitate them, to bring them out. So these are all pets that people have abandoned or, hurt and things like that. So that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, once you're out here and you see that, and we've got a gentleman who came here, and he's one of the first people who took a photograph of my mother with Puppet sitting on her shoulder, and he's just sitting over the briar. I'll buy my briar. He's got his feet up, reading a book. He's got one of those hats on, little wire hats, and he's just sitting there reading. And he's just saying, "I'm so chilled. I know the sunset's beautiful, but I'm just too relaxed." And that's what you're here for. It's just to bring you back to nature, so you can actually feel the Kalahari and actually unwind and relax. That's what it's for.
Now, honestly, the Kalahari blew me away. People hear the Kalahari, they just think desert. But we both know that's actually not the case. And I know Sarah and Marek, after the adventures of the twins in Africa, so straight after we filmed 2 episodes at Kalahari Trails, Sarah and Marek also went and they filmed a YouTube video at Kalahari Trails to spend time with the meerkats as well. So there is actually a lot of media attention on your little slice of heaven, isn't there?
It is. It's I'm very grateful for that, because it's not easy for a European to come out here in the Kalahari with all the heat and with a language problem as well. I'm afraid to say I'm working on that, but it's getting there. But trying to expose and show. And what I'm trying to do is that bring people here so they can actually unwind themselves, because there's so much stress in the world at the moment for various reasons, and I just feel that if you just get back to nature and just sit there and just calm yourself and breathe and listen to the earth, then things will seem far better, because there is something out there that's actually magical to do that helps you unwind. Seriously.
I think what's so incredible about Kalahari Trails as well. Sorry, now I'm just punting it because you guys have to understand. I freaking loved my brief period of time in Kalahari Trails. It's truly, truly remarkable. But the wildlife there is insane. If you go onto the website, you can go onto his website now, and you can just take a look at all the different reptiles they have, the different mammals they have, the bird life. Rich is a photographer himself, and he gets some amazing photos. I remember when there was a lilac-crested
Roller, yeah.
That was beautiful.
I got some better ones still. I've actually had to order myself another lens because I don't feel that my lens is doing it justice. I'm going to try a whole new set. But there, photography is one of the major things here, because on filming stuff, because we have got amazing animals, and the fact is there's no predators, so you can actually walk out in there. You can go for a walk anywhere you like. Just make sure you've got water with you, mind you. But you can get as close as out, and sometimes they come to you. I mean, I have yellow mongooses knocking on my door now because I feed the birds every morning with a little bit of bread or something, and they're already there wanting their food as well. So they're trying to get into my house. And if I leave the door open, there's so many animals coming into my house while I'm sitting here working. It's just phenomenal.
But Richard, thank you so much for coming on here. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to get back to Kalahari Trails, but thank you so much for coming onto my channel and talking about the dark crystal, giving us a little bit of insight and knowledge on the process and everything that happened on. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure, Caleb. It's great to see you again, and I hope you come back, because we had a blast last time. So let's go and do this.
I'm so excited to get back there.
Don't forget to bring Wonder Woman with you.
No, I will. She's going to be there. You're going to see Danny very, very soon. I guarantee you that much.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
But guys, thank you so much for watching this interview. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. Go down to the comment section down below. Leave us some thoughts. Do not be afraid to check out the Kalahari Trails website. Go check that place out. It's absolutely beautiful. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video.